Simply speaking, it teaches us how to put all our math knowledge into use by computers. So therefore, as you can see, when we do scientific computing involving math, this course plays a role. How about even in AI research? You already know many are using Python. If they use Python, the number one module they use is usually NumPy. To put it simple, this module is about the manipulation of vectors and matrices of numbers. And so you can see that this course could also play a role, important role in AI research. Okay, today's topic is code, pseudocode projects, and the programming language of your choice. We don't need to give a definition about code, pseudocode. The difference between code and pseudocode is possibly that code could be executed by computers. The pseudocode cannot. The pseudocode normally combines code and some human language, like phrases, and we commonly know if, then, else, do while. Okay, so pseudocode, code. And we will have projects to be done in this course. So you will have to use some programming language to complete the project. Actually, you can choose any programming language. C, C++, Java, Python, and there are many. However, we will focus on two groups, or two anyway. One, MATLAB. MATLAB is the de facto industrial standard for numerical computing. It's a commercial product. Liberty has purchased a Cambridge license, so you can get it for free. That's good. Okay, there is an open source project, GNU Octave. It's quite compatible with MATLAB. In other words, your code written in Octave can be executed in MATLAB. The same, your MATLAB code could be executed in Octave. Normally, it's that way, not 100%. Okay. Julia, that's a technical computing language. It's about 10 or 15 years old, from MIT. It's open source, anyway, it's free. It borrows most common features from MATLAB. That's good. And Python, yes, as I just introduced, if you use for scientific computing involving vectors and matrices, desperately the number one choice will be NumPy. You have all the choices like SciPy. But we should know Python is for general purpose. And it itself doesn't provide things like this. And it's extended by this kind of modules, NumPy, SciPy, and so on. So the manipulation of matrices vectors, anyway, it's quite similar to MATLAB, but not the same. And it's somehow a little strange. Of course, if you get used to them, it's fine. Okay, that's this. And now I put them as one group. Say, how about we just call it MATLAB. That's the first group. And the other one is Lua plus Mathly. Lua is a very simple language, quite natural and easy to understand, to master. And Mathly is a module. It's about 5,000 lines of code. I started developing in December 2024. It's still under development, but it's quite mature for projects, for using. Okay, simply speaking, Lua plus Mathly is a tiny but sufficient powerful MATLAB. So anyway, I strongly suggest you to choose either MATLAB or Lua plus Mathly for this course. And why? Okay, though there are so many languages, and as for myself, I know, I just don't know. I have used how many languages. Okay. Like languages like C, C++, Java, C#, Go, and so on. There is one process, it's called a compilation. Compilation process. You, simply speaking, is this: you prepare your code like a C, something C, and you send it to the compiler. It compile, simply speaking, okay, it convert your code to which one? To executable command, and then you can run this. If in the process of compiling, if there is syntactic mistakes, you will go back to an editor or some tool to modify your code, and then compile it again. If it can pass the parse of a syntax, and if your code can pass the parse of syntax, now it will generate an executable command. But you may find, oh my goodness, I made some mistake, logical mistake, and again you need to go back to the source code to edit it, to modify it, and then send to the compiler again. So it's in this way, and it's somehow it takes more time. It also has other inconvenience. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you don't need to worry too much. Okay, MATLAB and the Lua plus Mathly doesn't have such a process, compilation process. It's interactive. You run your code, your commands in an interactive way in the environment. It's called REPL. REPL. It means, what's that? It reads input commands from keyboard from you, and then it evaluates your input, and then it prints out the result. Okay, that's REPL. And after finishing all this, okay, it waits for new input, and then again it repeats, it evaluates the input, and it prints out the result. Okay, so that's one feature of MATLAB and Lua plus Mathly. And the basic thing is that they are math oriented. I just test this way. It's like what this concept is like in object-oriented programming. So this is math-oriented. So that means building in the language or some features you can use directly solving math problems. Okay, and making math operations much easier. And because of this property, math-oriented, that property, and some other property like graphical capabilities, they make, yes, MATLAB and then Lua Mathly make it much, much easier to prepare, process, and present data. Okay, like this, as you see the code here. That's the code here. That's you may say that's MATLAB code. That's also Lua Mathly code. Okay, they are the same. The first one, just one line of code. It prepares data. It generates how many? It's from pi to negative pi to pi. It generates 200 points, equally distributed or evenly distributed, evenly or equally spaced. Okay, over the interval, 200 points. And the second one, that's prepare data. And the second one, you see, that's to process data. The code evaluates sin of x at each point generated in the first step. And thirdly, we plot the data. We plot the function here. We only need 3 lines of code here. If you use C, how about that? Just the first line, you may need to have 6 or more lines of code to do this. The second one, the same, you may use 6 or more lines of code. It depends. Okay. And the last one, that's the problem. How about if you use C, you want to plot the graph? Oh my. It depends. It's painful. Okay. You need to choose a special graphics library. Oh, here, the library, it means the collection of functions, subroutines, already compiled in, say, computer code, executable code, not executable, just the machine code. Okay. Now, this last one, you need many lines. I don't know how many. It depends which graphics library you use. So that's a problem. It's quite painful. I remember I have used C for many years. It sounds like my native language, but I had never used it to plot even the graph of a math function. Say, how about the quadratic function? You haven't done this. Okay, why? Because it's painful. I even don't want to bother myself to give a try. Okay, so that's the problem. And here it turns out that's a wonderful property. And I believe that's also why so many, they choose MATLAB as a language for prototyping. That's to test an idea, a thought, algorithm, quickly, easily, yes. And if it turns out the thought works, and if needed, they will rewrite the algorithm, re-implement the algorithm in C++ also, and then put it into their product. Okay, so that's this. So you can see now how much time the tool MATLAB or Lua Mathly can help you save time when you take this course. Yes, we have 3 projects in modules 3, 5, and 7 respectively. Okay, each we have 3. If you use C, of course, no problem, any language. But if you use MATLAB or use Lua Mathly, it will make things much easier. Easier to write the code, easier to finish the project. Okay. And this, you'll do many homework assignments, and you will not use a physical calculator because it's painful. You can use which one is MATLAB or Lua Mathly to help you do homework. Okay. And you have 4 exams, and they are all open notes, open book. So you may use MATLAB, Lua Mathly also to help you do or finish calculation. And in MATLAB and the Lua Mathly, which one should you choose? Okay, again, it depends. If you have mastered MATLAB, and you may just continue to use it, no problem, that's good. If you are new to MATLAB, and Lua Mathly might be a better choice. Why? Why? Here we have the sample code in both MATLAB and Lua. You can see Lua's code. If you are an experienced programmer, you will love Lua more. Okay, we can compare. They look quite similar. First thing I don't like about MATLAB is this. When you write a function to do calculating some arithmetic operations and so on, and then you want to return the result, the computing result. That's a problem. You need to follow this stupid way to do it. Okay. This, I have never seen it in other languages. It's not a natural way. I don't know why. It's not a natural way. And I like it when I teach math, like differential equations, calculus, and so. I like it to use a word to describe the solution we tend to love. That word is natural. It's like if things natural is the way. Okay, it's like water flows from top to bottom. That's natural. Water will never struggle in finding a way where to go. Okay, no, it just flows from top to bottom. Okay, that's a natural choice, natural way. When we find a solution for even non-math problems, I still believe we had better to follow such a rule. We'll do things naturally. Okay, that's not a natural way. Oh, if I stop using MATLAB for, say, a few months, and then when I pick up MATLAB, I want to write some code, this is something I tend to forget. Okay, that's one ugly thing with MATLAB. Okay, and now here is so natural with Lua. You just return from the function, return the result. That's the approach commonly used in most languages I know. All language except MATLAB, yes. They just use that way. That's a natural choice. Understandable. We don't need to memorize this and that. Oh, this must be put this way, and assign the value, the result to that name. That's really ugly. I wish someday they will remove this. Okay, at least this will be an option. And the other thing, somehow ugly with MATLAB, is not in the code, is this. Is this part? Okay, it's this. usually we write a function and then save it to the hard drive. Okay, with the file name. The file name must have the same name as the name of the function. That's one thing ugly. Okay. We want freedom. We love freedom. This one, that's simply constraints we have to follow. Okay. And with Lua, no such constraint. You just do it any way you want, freely. That's one thing. The other thing you can say, little things, this. That's AND. This is all. Logical or AND. If you come from C, C++, C Sharp or so, or Java, oh, you say, oh, that's a natural choice. No, that's not a natural choice. That's because you just get used to that. Okay, to the notation. Here you see about it in MATLAB, in Lua, just AND, or. It's so nice. Okay, you don't need to remember, oh, it's this or something else. Okay, just use and or. And here with Lua, you also, if you use if condition, you will say then do something, else do something. Okay. When you use loop, you put a do. While some condition is to do something. Okay, so you have a do, you have a then, the keywords. Okay, anyway, they are just quite natural. Anything else? Oh, another thing is this, local. With MATLAB, all variables, yes, inside a function by default are local. That means only the code inside the function can read it, can access it, can see it. Okay. And the outside, if you have code from outside, it cannot access this variable MID. Okay, it cannot. And here with Lua, we just put a local there, a modifier. It's, hey, this variable is a local variable. Others cannot see it. Only this function, inside this function, we can see it. Okay. And if you are a newbie to programming language, you may feel it ugly. You say, oh, I want freedom. I don't want to write more. Yes, you may love that approach in MATLAB. But actually, for experienced ones, you will love, oh, I want to have more control, but not too much. Okay, more control. Yes, with MATLAB, if you want to say, hey, this variable can be accessed by others from outside, you need to put a modifier global. Yes, that's it. You need to put this, and if with Lua, you just drop this local. That means, oh, that variable it's visible everywhere. Okay, so that's the difference. And simply speaking, I love the approach by Lua, in Lua. Okay, it is much simpler and natural, and it's such a language, and it's tiny. Wow. Lua itself is tiny. It depends on which operating system, and anyway, which version of the operating system, Linux, Unix, or Mac OS or so, and your compiler, the library. Okay, I guess it's about 300 KB. Oh my, what's that? KB, this. It's 1 MB megabytes. So nowadays it's ignorable. Oh, the size is nothing. Sounds like okay. So we have discussed when and how, why, yes, your choice of between MATLAB or Lua Mathly. Actually, there is one more consideration. Even if you are a very experienced programmer, you will have other consideration, like how about your hardware? If your computer is ancient, it's very old, 10 years old, or even older, or if you get a new computer, new laptop, but it's quite low end. That means it has very limited memory, RAM, very poor, quite poor, or computing power. The CPU is poor. Okay. And some old computers even use the traditional hard drive. It's not SSD. That's even worse. Okay. The hard drive could be the very bottleneck of your system. Okay, in that situation, you try. How about you try MATLAB? The very basic, it's also default installation of MATLAB. It takes 4 gigabytes of storage. That's normally not, it's not a big problem. The problem is this. How about that? On such a machine, if you start MATLAB, it will take many seconds. Beyond, anyway, it's beyond my tolerance. Okay, I have a i9 laptop. It's with the CPU i9 14900 HX. Oh my, that's a very high-end laptop with a 64 or 56 GB RAM, memory. I tested it. It took my life to start. Yes, it took how many seconds? 22 seconds. Oh my goodness. With that many seconds, if it's we can finish simple calculations on the physical calculator. So of course, if you start MATLAB the first time, it takes so many seconds, and then after you quit, after a short while, you restart MATLAB again. It will take less time, but the problem is, if you stop, you quit the first start of MATLAB, and then you have done something else. You started Microsoft Office and this and that, big software. And now you restart MATLAB again, you will see it will take the similar amount of time as the first time you start MATLAB. That's not good. Okay, so how about Lua Mathly? Lua Mathly, the whole package is less than 5 megabytes, and you know, one gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes. So compared to this 4 gigabytes, this 5 gigabytes, this 5 megabytes, nothing. Okay, so it's so tiny. And of course, you can expect that starting Lua Mathly will take far less time. Actually, you click and it's already ready. You click them, say in Windows, you click, given that you have the icon for this Lua Mathly on the desktop screen, you click it. After you just finishing clicking the mouse, it's already there ready for you to type your commands and run. That's good. So which is why I like this. It's fast, it's tiny. Okay, anyway, let me repeat it. Lua Mathly is a tiny but sufficient, fast, and powerful MATLAB. So I believe I will use this for teaching, and I hope many professors, when they know the existence of Mathly, and if they don't hate Lua, they will, when they teach, they will use this. So and now I'm using Microsoft Surface Pro, a very old one. Say I could use it to do calculation, to run Lua plus Mathly. You cannot imagine. It's how painful to run to just run MATLAB on such a device. Okay, that's this. And about Lua plus Mathly, yes, I know some math students math majors do not have good mastery of programming language before anyway. Okay, now if you want to learn this MATLAB, you may choose this. You will love it, I hope, and I believe. Okay, as again, you can access Lua plus Mathly at this website. I put a few of my open source projects there. You can access them. Okay. If you are using Windows, you can download there on the very page a file. I cannot remember. I guess it's CudaText for Mathly. Some version nowadays it will be 2.3 or 2.2.3. I cannot remember 2.3, 3, 6, and 7Z. Okay, you read a brief introduction about in that on that page. Okay, for Lua plus Mathly, it shows you how to download an open source free software to 7-zip to unzip this to drive C, the root directory. Okay, then yes, you will, after doing all this, download this and unzip it to this place. Now you will have Lua Mathly. You will, in addition to which one? Yes, CudaText. I love this one. I have used many text editors. This is the one I love almost the most. Now it should be the most. I love it the most. Okay. It's a general purpose text editor, but it's very kind to programmers. It's lightweight, and the best thing is this. Oh yes, I like Windows. I like Linux even more. Okay. Yes, you can download a version for Linux and even for Mac OS. That's nice, right? Yes, if you master this, you can use all other systems just very fluently, efficiently. That's nice. You don't need to say, "Oh, on Windows I use this. Oh, I'm sorry. If I go to Linux, I don't have it. Therefore, I need to use one or use this or the tools to so that to make that software available." That's painful. I just want something native. You can run it natively in the very system. Okay, I love this. CudaText. It has many cute features most people love, like a syntax highlight and a code tree, code folding, and so on. And it also provides support this multi-selections. You can select, you put a cursor here, put a cursor here, you put a cursor someplace else, and now you do things. If you type A, hey, you get A in all the places. Nice, right? You put B here, B, it will be there. You can do deletion, copy paste, and do many operations you want. That's nice. It just the effect will immediately yes at those points you choose, all those points you choose. Okay, that's nice. And it supports a column block. You work here, you choose a column block, and it does themes. Okay, that's something I also love. And it can be extensible by Python code. And it's because of this I changed, modified some add-ons. Okay, you can download here from CudaText homepage. I customize it for Lua Mathly, or I modify it or add new features to them so that yes, I love them. I love CudaText more. Yes, this one, this download here that I just mentioned. If you download at this place, the Lua Mathly's homepage, from that homepage, if you download CudaText plus Lua and Mathly, yes, it will have all things I love. I put in there. It's customized well, and it can provide auto completion for Lua Mathly. Okay, one more thing is good. You don't, and English is not my native language, and I even have a poor memory. That's a bad thing. Okay, when I want to write something, I forget the very spelling of a word. Oh, I make it this. I've made this CudaText work with the English dictionary. It's also included there. You can, if I just spell, say, how about reservation, R-E-S-E-R, I forget what to do next. I just push here, press Shift Alt Space. Okay, it will take out the words with this kind of spelling in them, and give us a list they choose, and it helps me a lot. It's sad I cannot see this in Microsoft Office in all text editors I have used. I used to this one. Some of you possibly know this or heard the name of this. Emacs. Okay, it's popular in Linux. Okay, with Linux guys. Okay, so I also add such a feature to this. I wrote my own add-ons anyway. I love it. Okay, now here you see. You start this guy. Okay, you start CudaText. That's the window you'll see. And you use this in the text, in the editor part. You can prepare your commands, your code. You see here, if you press F1, if your cursor is SEQ here, you press F1, it will pop up the help this very Mathly function showing what is the feature. Yes, its function and how to use it. You can see examples and so there. And if you want to run it, and you can directly say, hey, I just want to run the first command. If your cursor is on any place on the first line here, any place, you press Control Command. It will start. If Lua is not started, yes, Lua Mathly is not started, it will start them and then run the code. It gives the result. And the cursor will move on to the next line Okay, if you press Control comma again, it will give you the answer. Oh, it's the sum. The first one generates a sequence of numbers, say 1, 2, 3 until 100. And the sum, of course, is this number, right? Okay. And another command shortcut is Control comma. Control. Oh, that's not. Okay. It gives you what? It simply run all the code in the text editor. Okay, that's good. And given that you have a command, you say, I cannot remember. I want to plot the curve of some function, also data. I cannot remember the function at this place. If your cursor, you press Control Alt space. Yes, it will show you all the built-in Mathly commands or anyway Lua functions containing curve, curve. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so and simply speaking, this way, and the CUDA text the functions like IDE, integrated development environment. Okay, IDE, and it's better than REPL. Here, if you just start a Lua here, if you in Windows, if we start Lua here, you start Lua, okay, you just tab commands, results, tab results. Anyway, you don't have those features of completion or help or so. You do not have all this thing. And here, you can easily edit and save your results. When you edit your commands, your code, you can apply all the tools provided by CudaText. Okay, that's nice. It's way better. No REPL, not just for for Lua, for Julia, for any. No one could provide REPL environment could provide such kind of rich features for editing commands. So I like using this way. I prepare Lua code here and run here by when I work in the text editor, just by press which one? Control, comma, okay. Also, you can use a mouse also, but the hard key normally I like it more. Okay, that's this, and that's today's this very talk. Anyway, I hope, in brief, you will make decision what tool you will use for studying this course. It's your freedom. You can use any language you feel comfortable, you love. And my strong recommendation is MATLAB or Lua plus Mathly. If you are new to MATLAB, I strongly suggest that one. And that possibly is the only choice. Not the only, I strongly suggest that you use this one. Okay, if your computer is old enough, it's just not fast enough, I also believe you should use Lua plus Mathly. Okay, so thank you for watching. Have a nice day.